Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Albany, and I'm finally back with another video. So yeah, January was not a great month for me. I did not get much reading done. My fault completely, because I definitely could have. So yeah, don't be mad at me. I'm already mad at myself. But February, I'm excited for February. It is the month of love. It is also, more importantly, the month of Black History Month. And I have something full packed for the month. I want to try to I wanted to do like the whole month of videos about, you know, Black writers, Black authors, books, movies, stuff like that. I still am going to do a majority of the videos of that, but I will have like a mixture of some things that I didn't film in January that should have came out in January. So yeah, so before we get into my Black History Month books that I'm going to read, I'm just going to quickly talk about books that I read in January. The first being my genre pick of the month, which I had got sci-fi, which sucked. Even though I love sci-fi, I don't know if I wasn't quite in the mood for sci-fi, or I just didn't pick the right sci-fi book. I kind of picked a more, like, I think it's called soft sci-fi, and then and it was more like a contemporary type sci-fi book. It's called The Long Way, I'm gonna put it right here, I can't even think, The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet by Beckett Chambers. And although the book was good, I just wasn't in the mood for it. So like I could do this thing where I'm reading but I'm like almost half asleep. Like I was pretty much half asleep, but I retained the information. Like I know everything that happens. I can't remember all the characters' names, but it's pretty much about a young girl who is from Mars. She was born and raised there. Earth is long gone. And she basically is running away from something, and she takes this job. She like changes her identity, and she takes this job on this tunneling ship to join this crew as like they're basically their office administrator. I don't know, that's not the title of it, but that's basically what she did, like all their paperwork stuff. And so yeah, she gets on the ship and she meets a cast of other characters, you know, the captain, then there's the pilot, who she is from a planet, and she is of the race of like a mixture of kind of like basically like a snake lizard looking thing, but that has feathers. I can't remember her name. I don't know why I can't remember her name, but it's like Androdask is the name of their species. I couldn't think for a second. And then there's like, I think there's like two, I know the captain's human, the girl who's like kind of the main thing but she's not really as a human, and then there's like the cool techie girl, the ship that's a human. And so you just pretty much like nothing, things happen. Like I know that they got hijacked, and then you know what, then with their mission they were doing, this issue happened, but like it kind of just was like a more like character driven, which is fine, but I just wasn't in the mood for it. So but overall I did kind of sort of enjoyed it, and maybe I might continue this series because I think it is going to be a series, and maybe I'll just read it when I'm more so in the mood. So the next two things, this is how lazy I was. It took me a full month to get through that book, or like 3 weeks to get through that sci-fi book. But so the next two books are audiobooks. The first one being called Heavy by Kiese Lehman, I think that's how you say it. And he is a Black African American writer, professor, etc., etc. I learned the book from a girl on YouTube. Her YouTube channel is Left on Red, and she said it was one of her like top books that she read in 2019. So I was like, let me give it a try, and I listened to it as an audiobook. Man, oh man, I told immediately to my best friend, girl, you need to listen to this book. She didn't really care for his voice. I loved his voice. I was like, his voice to me was powerful, and of course when he's reading his own writing, it was powerful to me, so I enjoyed it. But it's pretty much a, I don't know, collection of essays that he wrote about his life, kind of, I guess, to his mother, but about situations of him growing up and the experiences that he has faced of, you know, with sex and race and political things, his weight, and he's just feeling, and his play on words, like, you know, heavy. You would think he was just talking about maybe his weight aspect, but just heavy in his emotions and his feelings, and how that catered to him becoming heavy, becoming bigger. But his uses of words, it was just really powerful, and I really enjoyed kind of learning his story, and the way that he writes, it almost felt like I was reading something by like Richard Wright, or by like James Baldwin. Like, it kind of had like an older to it, and it could be because he was from the South, and it's also because his mother was an English professor and she instilled in him, you know, a love of reading and writing, and so it kind of had like an old tinge to it, but it was still like very easy to understand and very impactful. So yeah, I really enjoyed that book. I know I'm probably gonna rate, it's the beginning of the year, and it's probably gonna be one of the top books of my year. I would definitely listen to it again and recommend it to anybody, especially, I definitely recommend it. I'm going to do a video of books I recommend people to read for Black History Month, and that is definitely going to be on that list. Alright, so my last book I read, which was a comedy audiobook, and I believe it won Best in Comedy in 2019 on Goodreads, and it is Dear Girls by Ali Wong. If you don't know who that is, she's a comedian. I know she has a few Netflix specials. You can see her. She's a very raunchy comedian. Very, very raunchy. And it's like you hear her voice and then you hear the raunchiness and you're just like, that doesn't add up. But listening to it like alone, I didn't like laugh out loud. But when you're like listening to something like raunchy and, you know, out there and crazy stuff is being said, when you're in the car or with somebody else and they can hear it, they're just like, it's hilarious. So that's kind of like how I felt like, but it was engaging. I listened to it going to and from work, and then like I kind of finished up. I kind of finished it this month, February, but we ain't gonna spill it now. We're gonna say I finished it in January. So 3 books for January. But I mostly listened to it. I was like 80% done. So yeah, I do like it. I don't know if I would rate it like top things that I would like want to listen to again or really recommend. I mean, if you're looking for something funny, if you like her style of funny, then definitely give that a try. All right, so now that we finished about my sad January buff, let's get into my Black History Month, where I'm going to be reading just Black authors. I have a list, but before I get to my list, I have my cup. As you know, each month I'm going to pick a genre, and then I find a book to read in that genre that I'm gonna read for the month. And so for this month, since I'm only reading people of color authors, then that it's gonna have to be that. So hopefully I get a genre. I mean, I should. People of color, right? All genres. So what am I going to get? I'm kind of scared. This is too easy. This is easy. And it technically, I have a book that's already on my list, so I'm gonna just, because my list is long, so I'm just gonna use that. But dang, I wish I had got something else, but it's just biographies / autobiographies. So yeah, I feel like that's too easy. Of course, like why I couldn't have gotten the sci-fi one this month, or yeah, I feel like, but whatever. And so the one I'm going to do for this one, which is because it's already on my on my to be read, and I'm kind of happy because I don't have to add an extra book, because I have 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 books. So to add an 8th one, that was kind of a little pushing it. So yes, and I'm definitely going to get this one done because I just got it on my library app, and that is Becoming by Michelle Obama. Obviously it is a autobiography. It's written by her. It's about her life, about her. I looked at it, it is 19 hours long. So I will be listening to that for minutes, but I'm excited. I've been waiting for it. I don't know, I just wasn't, when it first came out, I wasn't in the mood, or I don't know, I just didn't get into it, and I wanted to save it, and I've saved it to this moment, and I got it as an audiobook, and it's read by her. So I'm going to be on my way to and from work listening to Michelle Obama. So yeah, I'm excited about that. So there's my first book and my genre pick. The actual physical, actually I have another book, a physical copy, but I'm not gonna go up and get it because this is too much. But the first one, and I'm not that big. Of course, like in books there is some type of romance going on, but I haven't actually read a romance book, and I get all my books recommendations from like 2 YouTubers apparently. But Left on Red, again, is recommended. Her favorite black romance novelist is Alyssa Cole, and the first book of the Reluctant Royal series, so, and that is A Princess in Theory. So I mean, you could pretty much kind of guess what it's about. It's a Cinderella kind of Prince Charming type of book. Pretty much a girl who is in America, grad school, working jobs. Somebody is messaging her saying that she needs to claim Prince, and she doesn't quite believe it, and then he comes and he finds her. He comes and finds her, and then, you know, eventually they fall in love. So yeah, I mean, had to do it. It's still Valentine's Day too, so I added that in my Black History Month. The next book, which I'm reading right now because it is a long book, I started it like the last week of January because I wanted to start give myself a head start because it's a long one, and that is Native Son by Richard Wright. And this is a book of a character who, I don't want to say that he's not likable, but he isn't what you expect of a 1940s African-American male at that time frame. And he is the villain, protagonist. I don't know, he is an interesting character, and it's basically a, what's the word I'm looking for? It's basically a I don't want to say answer, but a commentary on basically what the United States systematically has done to African American males in general, and kind of living how they've been treated, and kind of the result of that. There we go, I couldn't get my words out, but this is basically commentary about that, and kind of I feel as though it kind of answers the question on, you know, maybe like why there's even not even just an African American, but why there's people who decide to, instead of making a name for themselves or building up the traditional way, they just feel like they can't, or they just can't be successful, and they choose a different path in violence. So it kind of answers some of those questions. But anyway, I'm enjoying it. It's like in 3 books. I'm in like half of book 2. Like book 2 part was like 300 and some pages. So hopefully I will be finished that book the beginning of February, and then I will be I will be watching the most recent adaptation of Native Son, that I believe happened like in 2017, 2018. I can't quite remember, and I'm gonna be doing a review of both the book and the movie as I do. So yeah, so I'm excited about that. The next one, I'm reading 2 books by Toni Morrison. One I actually had, and that's The Bluest Eyes. A co-worker of mine let me borrow it. She was gonna let me borrow Beloved too, but then I'm gonna just read that one on my phone on the Libby app. But The Bluest Eyes, she did let me give a physical book of that. It's very small, so I plan on doing a reading vlog of that and just reading that all in one sitting in one day. And I mean, it's like this small, so I'm sure I can do that. And then Beloved, which I already have, so as soon as I finish Native Son, I'm gonna read Beloved and also do a book to movie. And this one's gonna be a little bit older. I don't think they've done a recent one, and this one has Oprah, which I haven't seen many movies or shows with Oprah in it. I mean, of course I've seen The Color Purple, but I haven't seen anything other than that. So I'm excited to see that. And then the next book I'm going to read is If Beale Street Could Talk by James Baldwin, and of course love is in the air as well. So it's Valentine's month as well. Well, not month, but Valentine's Day is in this month, and then adding another African American romance writer, or well, kind of. So yeah, interested in that. And then of course, you know, they remade that movie as well, and haven't seen it. I haven't seen any of these movies, so I'll be doing commentary about both of those, well, both of the book and the movie as well. And the last book is a different one that I haven't, well, a different type of genre of African, or just genre I haven't spoke about on my channel, that a lot of African American writers write. Like, there's a huge selection of them, and I plan on doing a book discussion, but also a discussion about this particular genre with my best friend. But the book that we will be reading is called Shitless, and it's by Rain, and it's an urban fiction book. So yeah, me and her started this series when we were in middle school. Sorry, parents. Sorry, parents. So I mean, it wasn't too crazy, but it's crazy. It's a little out there, but it was very engaging, very interesting. It's not everybody's cup of tea, but I definitely want to talk about it and the impact, and you know, why people like this type of genre, especially African American females. So me and her are going to do, she doesn't know it yet, and she's probably not going to see this video, but she doesn't know it yet, but we're going to do a video again talking about urban fiction, and then also this series and how me and her kind of read it, and we would talk to each other. It was one of our books. So yes, I think that is all, I think 7 books. I feel like I kind of cheated with my little genre pick, but hey, it said it wanted me to read Becoming. That's what it's saying. So stay tuned for Black History Month. Let me know what books people of color or by African American right authors you are reading down in the comments. And yeah, and let me know what you thought of the books that I'm going to be reading. I haven't read any of these books, so yeah, so stay tuned for my Black History Month on YouTube. Yeah.